Hey you, you who clicked on this video. Thanks for giving our channel a shot. And if you will, please do us the honor of watching the video all the way through. Appreciate it. Now onto the video. So Outer Range, episode 2, The Land, picks up right after the events of episode 1. And finally, we get somebody that's acting appropriately after the Tillersons have basically just been running around the ranch like they own the place. And this person of reason is Cecilia. So she's the matriarch of the family, and she, is spitting fire and brimstone at these young men because it's like, who do you think you are? Driving through my gate, beating on my door at all times of night, acting like you ain't got no sense. And of course, they hang their heads low like little kids because she's known them probably since they were born. And, they leave. And that's what should have happened in the beginning anyway. And of course, following Royal's lead, she also rallies around her family. There's no Skylar White syndrome. Anybody who's seen Breaking Bad knows what I'm talking about. There's no Skylar White syndrome here. Everybody's, on code and down with the program, and they know what time it is. We protect the family, and, and we're going to keep doing it because, it's not like Trevor's not dead. However, the big question still remains, where's Royal? So then we see that huge bison that we saw in the first episode, and we see Royal waking up on the ranch, shirtless still. Looks like he's injured in some way from his leg, don't know why, and it's raining. So Royal finds his horse and gets himself home. And, I don't remember Royal getting hurt in any way, but we'll get into that later on for the episode. Now, I do love this scene. I love the scene at the table because it just shows a family solidarity that you really don't get to see a lot on television now, where everybody knows that they need to look to Royal for the next move. And, even though the boys are a little bit, on edge, Mom Cecilia brings everybody right back to it. She's like, look, we're in it. So Royal, tell us what we need to know, because she knows that there are certain things that he can't tell all of them all at once, being that everybody's flustered and somebody might make a mistake. And Royal says basically, it's time to act like business as usual. But here's the wrinkle in it. So Perry brings up Autumn, who's staying on the land, which Cecilia did not know about, and she's like, you need to get rid of her now. Royal, of course, knows that that is not a possibility, so he's trying to hand wave it off until he can figure out what to do. And then out of the blue, here comes Amy again. And I swear to God, this child is special. Like they having serious talk, and she's trying to get cereal at the table, and they're like, you need to go on now. And she's like, oh, I need cereal for school. And I'm like, bruh, I swear this child needs to be tested, because she is just like, she does not get the social cues whatsoever. She just does whatever the hell she wants to do, apparently. And then we get, a scene where Royal is trying to basically treat his wounds, and which I don't ever remember him getting. And Cecilia asks if one of the boys got a shot off at him, and he says yes. And of course, we know that did not happen because the Tillerson boys never got even close to Royal before he dumped the body. Then we get to see that Sheriff Joy is, getting ready to basically campaign to get elected to sheriff, as she is currently the interim sheriff. We see a little bit of, glimpse into her life, that she's actually, married with a child. I guess the show wants you to understand that she's a lesbian. Not that really matters in any real way, shape, form, or fashion, or is it germane to the story, but it'll come up once again, but, very brief. So she goes to meet with Luke Tillerson to basically talk about Trevor's disappearance. Everybody's pretty much convinced that Trevor went off on a drunken bender because he's known to do that. And Luke then put some intimidation on Sheriff Joy, basically saying, without saying, that, if she wants to actually get elected, that she'll, take Trevor's disappearance more seriously. And we see that the Tillersons have, a good bit of clout in the area. So we get a nice scene between Maria and Rhett at the bank where she works, where, he's just chatting her up, seeing, what's good, asking her when she's going to be off, for a break. She says it's going to take an hour. He says he'll wait. It's cute. But what we see next is that, even though Rhett is definitely into her, what he's actually trying to get her to do is make sure to keep, what she saw during the fight quiet, so that, more suspicion isn't drawn to the family. So in, pure Cecilia fashion, she comes out spitting fire and brimstone because she has just now found out that the Tillersons are basically trying to take a mile of their land from their ranch, and Royal's saying, he's going to go see a lawyer and they're going to go and figure it out. And of course, Cecilia asks Royal to take Perry with him because, he's obviously distraught over what he's done. And, in the drive to the lawyers, Perry and Royal get into a discussion about, whether or not the killing of Trevor was an accident, which obviously, it was, things got heated. There was alcohol involved. There was a fight. But, another interesting discussion gets brought up again, and that is the question of faith or fate. And, Perry asks if his father believes in fate and if he thinks that that's how the world works. And, Royal just admits to him plainly that he does not know how the world works. And I think that Royal is okay with not knowing how it works. But I think he's losing his patience with the idea that all of these things that are happening is a part of some sort of celestial plan of God. Now we get to Todd Barney, the lawyer, and he basically is of the opinion that that Royal should just give up the piece of land and move on with his day because nobody beats the Tillersons. And of course, Royal can't allow that because the void is on that piece of land that the Tillersons want to take. So that's obviously off the table. So Royal decides that he's going to go and see the dad, Tillerson. And I'm telling you, this scene is crazy funny. So in addition to, them going to see the Tillersons, or Royal rather going to see the Tillersons, what he's greeted to, because the Tillersons' house is nice, obviously they've been doing well for themselves, is in the background as Luke is allowing Royal in, he can hear Billy Tillerson singing Whitney Houston's I Have Nothing in the background, and it's a country rendition of the song, but he's singing it to himself in the mirror, and it's kind of off-putting within the context of the series. So then we see Royal and Wayne Tillerson meeting each other and, basically going over the terms of if and when Royal is going to surrender the land. Now, we know that Wayne has some sort of machinations on the whole, whether he knows about the void or not. That's what he's looking for. That's what he's being called for. And that's why he's doing what he's doing. But, obviously Royal can't have that. And, we'll understand more as this episode goes on. But, there's a long story of basically Wayne just telling Royal that when he wants something, he will have it. Then we get a scene of Autumn walking in the woods, looking for this particular emblem that she keeps writing down, and it looks, suspiciously reminiscent of the family emblem of the Abbotts. And then we get to see Amy walk upon Autumn. They seem to favor each other in a suspicious way, but there's probably nothing to that. But, hey, just throwing a theory out there. And, they talk about the symbol and how, much it resembles the family symbol for the Abbotts. Royal goes to investigate Autumn's tent, and, nothing really there, nothing of any consequence. And then he goes right back to the void to stare at it, staring into the void, waiting for something to stare back at him. And now we're at supper time at the Abbott house. And Royal offers to say grace, in which he basically vents all his frustration through prayer. His frustration with the situation going on, his frustration with God, not knowing, not understanding what is going on, and just really just being sick of it. And this is definitely a very emotional scene, but I feel like it's him just trying to get all that frustration out and in the open. And, then he reveals to the family that they need to move the cows away from the west pasture, obviously because he can't have any more of them falling into the void, but he can't tell his family about the void either, because how do you tell anybody about a gigantic hole that leads probably to another, dimension or a parallel universe? Like, how do you do that? How do you go from cattle ranching to that? You just don't. Then we see one of the cows get away and is heading toward the void, and of course, Roll has to go and get it before it falls in, and they lose another cow. And Cecilia and Rhett think that he's lost his mind, but we know what Roll's doing. So, and later on that evening, we see that Royal is going to the barn. He's looking for something. He finds a picture behind a drawer, so he's obviously put it there. And there are two people, a man and a woman. Don't know if those are his parents or not, but he's again surprised by Autumn, who just intrudes wherever. And they finally get a chance to talk about, the events of the night previous and what has happened. The idea that she pushed him in. He wants to know, obviously, did she expect him not to come back, or what was the purpose of that? And he asks her a very strange series of questions. Is she interested in mining, drilling? Has she ever worked for the government? And has she ever been involved in a cult? And these questions seem sort of random until she reveals to him that she too doesn't remember anything before the age of 9. And the question of fate comes up again, and she reveals to him that she has also been drawn to the ranch by some unseen, unknowable force. And so she asks him what he saw when he went into the void. And so we're treated to a flashback, and we see what he saw. And I love this scene because the show does what a lot of shows refuse to do. It shows you rather than just tell you. And this definitely has me hooked for the next episode. And what Royal sees on the other side of the void is a bunch of people gathered around this hole on the other side. He sees a bunch of oil drills and derricks around. He also sees what looked to be a bunch of people praying in similar outfits and military all around the site. And then he sees a familiar face, which is Cecilia, and she comes up and approaches him. And he also sees Autumn there in a yellow outfit, and she reveals to him that he has been dead for 2 years, and that he needs to run. And as he starts to run, Luke Tillerson lets off a shot, and that is where he got grazed by the bullet, and that's why he was injured at the beginning of the episode. And that's where the episode ends. So guys, let me know what you think about this, whether or not you think that, this parallel universe is, a direct correlation to ours, whether or not it's the future or what have you. And, leave those comments down below, and we'll see you on the next one. 8-Bit Heroes out. Peace. If you'd like to get a shout out on the channel, then hit that like button, maybe share it with a couple of friends, and do us the biggest honor of all, and subscribe to the channel so you can join the 8-Bit Heroes family. And while you're at it, hit that bell icon so you can be notified when our new videos come out.